Hello everyone, Philly Pipe Smoker here. Finally have some nice weather this week. It's supposed to be in the 60s, but ended up being in the 70s. I think the 80s yesterday, and today it's just gorgeous. I don't know what the temperature is yet, but it's really nice. Light wind, very comfortable, no humidity. All that stuff's coming later. Smoking my Mark Tinsky custom calabash that he made for me with some Marlin Flake inside. One of my go-to tobaccos. A lot has transpired since my last video, and quite frankly, I haven't really been in the mood to make videos. The Boston bombing was one of those events, tragic. I'm sure we all watched it play out on TV, hunting the suspects down. The fact that the one suspect actually ran over his brother trying to get away, and then I guess realizing he couldn't get away, maybe he was injured too badly, I'm not sure, decides to hide in some guy's boat in his backyard. Imagine that. Watching his parents on TV and his uncle. And from them you get the wide spectrum. You get, oh, he's been set up, he's a nice kid, to he's shaming the family. And this past week we found out that the IRS was targeting conservative, I guess, Tea Party groups when they were trying to form their nonprofit organizations. So what does the government do? They say, well, it should never have happened. So they fire the head of the IRS who has been there for 8 days. That's going to atone for the sins of the IRS by firing somebody who was just named head of the IRS. In case you don't know, the IRS, Internal Revenue Service, if you're from overseas, they have the dubious task of collecting all of our taxes. Meanwhile, the person that was the head of the IRS is in another position now. She was the one that actually oversaw the IRS when all this was taking place. And she's heading up Obamacare, I think, which is the health care. This whole thing with politicians just drives me crazy. Local politicians, they get in it for the right reason. They really want to make a difference. They want to help the community. The minute they start going for statewide or national elections, they just become so corrupt. I really don't even like to vote anymore because you really are choosing the lesser of two evils. And that's not the way it should be. We actually should have some decent candidates to vote for. Then I wake up this morning, turn the news on at 6 a.m. and see our local. I live in a township, and right next door is Upper Darby Township. And if you guys have watched the news, or actually you can do a YouTube search, put in Upper Darby Upper Darby bus incident, and you'll see this 7-year-old kid go off on the driver and the bus's aide. These students are so disrupted they actually have to have a helper on the bus because the bus driver can't control these kids. Looks to be a small bus, maybe 10 passenger, 14 passenger bus. It's a small one, it's not one of those big ones. And it starts off with calling this aide an effing bitch. Not once, not twice, not even a dozen, 4, 5, 6 dozen times. You can watch the video and you'll be dumbfounded at this kid's behavior on the bus. One point he actually grabs this woman and then realizes when she says, "Don't touch me," he did something wrong, and then starts to say, "I didn't touch you, I didn't touch you." It was so bad they actually called the police to meet the bus. Now, the police that happened to respond was actually from my township. They were coming through my township, taking these kids to some private school outside of the boundaries of Upper Darby School District. In this area, if you want to go to a private school, the local township has to bus you to that school if it's outside the district. So that's what they were doing. So I don't even know where this kid goes to school. So the police pull him out of the bus. They're talking to him, and he's denying it. You can just see him shrugging his shoulders. And what the hell kind of parenting does this kid have? What are these parents doing at night that this kid's learning this kind of violence and behavior and language? I realize that's not indicative of all the youth today. But I mean, how stupid can you be to act? Obviously, they're acting that way in front of their kid, which is how he's learning it. I mean, this kid obviously has seen this kind of behavior. It could even be from siblings, could not. But the parents should have some control over what's going on in that house, and obviously they don't. On a happier note, some of you guys probably already subscribed to him, but I want to do a shout out for Guy Witherspoon. Um, he mentioned in one of his videos that he was outside the Philadelphia area. His wife was holding some sort of barn auction. And I sent him a private message and said, hey, where are you from? I live, in XYZ Township, right outside the city. And he got back to me that he was actually born in my town, spent the first 8 years here, then moved to another local town called Berwyn, and now lives in another town a little bit further out from the city. He was talking about a couple of restaurants that they're going to, and I've been to those restaurants too, and talked about his Mother's Day experience. By the way, if there's any mothers watching, happy Mother's Day. Very belated. Sorry. But Guy's a really, really nice person. If you get a chance, if you're not subscribed to him, please do so. Another quick shout out to my friend Keith Graham, who I haven't spoken to in a while, and I do apologize. Work has been crazy. Also to the Holy Smoking Pipe Padre, I wanted to say hi. Tomorrow I get to go to an event I've never been to before, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's the ordination of a friend of mine to become a Catholic priest. There's only 3 men being ordained this year in the Philadelphia Archdiocese. But I'll be at the cathedral tomorrow morning, to watch this event. Really looking forward to it. We're going to go to a reception afterwards at a really nice place in town called the Union League. It's a private club, and it's been around since the Civil War. I actually got the chance to take a tour of it a couple of years ago with the librarian historian of the place. Obviously was at one point Republican only, at one point men only. All that's changed now. It's open to anyone, as it should be. But they have some paintings and things in this place that go back a couple hundred years and are the size of a small bus. They're huge. But they have a lot of neat stuff there. It's a really nice place. They do a really nice job. They'll do a really nice job on this lunch tomorrow for this newly ordained priest. And then we get to go to his first Mass on Sunday, which happens to be our local parish. He's from our local parish here. And my wife had met him years and years ago before we entered the seminary, and we became friends. And so I will be having a great time tomorrow watching that. Anyway, guys, sorry to ramble on. Hopefully tomorrow will be a very bright spot in what has been a kind of a dismal month with the news and things going on. So you guys have a great weekend. All the best.